Well, it's finally time to get to the sequel. Fisherman's Bait was one of the worst fishing games I've ever played so far. While Hot B is still the kings of worst games of all time, Fisherman's Bait was easily third place. So does the sequel actually fix any of the many problems I had with the first game? No. It's Konami, dude. Konami. The company that only makes pachinko machines. Fisherman's Bait 2 is just the same game as the last, making me wonder, why even bother? Alright, Konami needed more crack money.
Hold on.
Since the game is just the same as the last, there's no need to go over everything again. We'll simply shorten this review to reflect the lack of quality in the sequel product. The controls are the same old, D-pad for direction of casting, X to cast and reel, L1 and R1 to select lure, options, and release tension. That's it. And yes, it still hurts my thumb to play it like the first. Seriously, you mash the X button non-stop for 5+ minutes to catch a single fish. Good God, what a badly designed mechanic. My thumb still hurts. Why do we need to mash the button? Why can't it just be hold? Why isn't there a faster reel option? This game is just torture all around.
Bluegill, 11 ounce. Not gamefish.
The modes are the same as well, with nothing special about them. In fact, because they all play the exact same in the same lake, same fish, and same timer, there really should only be one mode. That being torture porn mode. Because this game is hell on the thumb. Not sure about anyone else, but I use my thumb for the face buttons and right analog stick in games, as well as my pointing finger and middle finger for the R1 and R2 button. Mirrored on the left side, I use my left thumb for the left analog stick and D-pad, with my pointer and middle fingers for L1 and L2, a standard layout. But in turn, it led to nothing but agony. I need to find some aspirin. Seriously, my thumb still hurts while typing this review and recording it.
Lost fish.
So let's quickly go over the modes. You got beginner mode, which teaches you how developers enjoy pain in their thumbs when playing games. I thought the Japanese were big on armpit licking. This must have been their 90s counterpart fetish. The beginner mode just gives you non-stop pop-ups on how to play the game. You can't select the lake either. Also, like usual, you can only catch bass. But the problem with the game is there's other fish. Also, in the underwater camera, you can't see the fish model, as it's always the same fish model, so there's no variety of fish. So every time you're fishing and the fish is about to bite the hook, it's always the same looking fish model. And it's only until they're hooked on the line and the camera switches between underwater view and the player constantly throwing you off, you can finally see what fish you hooked. This makes it harder to catch what you need, aka only bass of a certain size in all modes, hence the name Big Ol' Bass. Even though it's not Big Ol' Bass, it's Fisherman's Bait 2 Big Ol' Bass. The real Big Ol' Bass 2 is a much better game than this trash heap.
Goddamn right.
Tournament mode is the same old as well, where you just attempt to get large bass and 3 to weigh in and qualify for the next round. Boring. Free fish isn't free fish because you can only catch bass, and there's still a timer. Well, I call it free fish if it's a competitive mode. Might as well not include it at all. finally, we have monster fish, where you go to one of 3 countries, Japan, USA, or South Africa, and try to catch one particular large fish. This is the only time where it's no longer about the bass. Instead, it's fantasy fish. I just did Japan because it's Japan, and because my thumb is killing me, so I ended up quitting after this mode.
Game over.
At the end of the day, Fisherman's Bait 2 Big Ol' Bass is just another turd in the lake of bad fishing games. While not as bad as the Hot B games, it doesn't offer much in the way of improvements over its predecessor. The point of a sequel, is to improve upon the last game and make things all the better. But not Fisherman's Bait 2. It just wants to remain the same thumb torture it's always been. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. Only 2 more fishing games remain for the PS1 to cover. Hopefully Real Fishing 1 and 2 are different and better, so we have something besides Action Bass and Big Ol' Bass 2 as good fishing games.
Lost fish.